The Sri Lanka Electricity Act was drafted to bring about changes in the power sector of the country. The act proposes for power generation, transmission, distribution, marketing, supply and procurement to be carried out by several companies established under the Companies Act. The act also proposes for another entity to be established to regulate the power sector and to issue permits. There are 3 proposals in the act that has given rise to much controversy among various stakeholders. The first is the proposed overall change in the entire power sector of this country. Is the government planning on breaking down the Ceylon Electricity Board and selling it off? The other issue raised by stakeholders is the fact that although the Gazette was issued this morning, it has been dated the 5th of December 2023. The time period during which this bill can be challenged before the Supreme Court has reduced. The third issue is the fact that there were so many errors in the Sinhala draft of the bill that was published in the Gazette. There is provision in the Act to state that if there is a discrepancy between the drafts of the 3 languages, the Sinhala Act will prevail above the rest.
Who prepared this bill?
This was discussed during the session of the Sectoral Oversight Committee on alleviating the impact of the economic crisis.
The Additional Secretary to the Ministry is not aware of this act being gazetted, and if it was presented to the Cabinet, what is the status of this? The entire bill was drafted in secrecy. Everyone will bear witness to it. This will lead to many issues. This was created by a few, and why does it say that this was issued on the 5th?
officially ඉල්ලුවා පිටපතක් තාම ඒක දෙන්න බෑ කියලා තමයි තියෙන්නේ.
තාම දෙන්න බෑ කියන ප්‍රතිචාර තමයි ලැබිලා තියෙන්නේ. අපිට ඒක කැසට් එකට යනකොට
The ministry informed us when it was sent to be printed as a gazette. I'm only aware that it has cabinet approval.
කියන එක තමයි මගේ දැනුම හැටියට තියෙන්නේ.
මේ පනතේ මේ පාරිභෝගික අයිතිවාසිකම්.
There is no mention of consumer rights. Why are they not calling for a meeting? There are many printing mistakes in this paper. If this is what went to the cabinet, there are serious issues that concern the energy sector.
මේ වගේ පනතකින්ද කියලා
The Electricity Users Association say that Sri Lanka's electricity bill is another attempt to sell the country's assets.
This bill leads to total privatization of the electricity sector. With mention of listing in the stock exchange and public-private ventures, they plan to establish separate corporate entities, and eventually the tariff will also increase. Ranil Wickremesinghe wants to sell the resources. Though he is Mr. Clean, he remains in the gambling den.
Mr. Clean උනාට ඔව් නිරන්තරයෙන්ම බූරුව ගැහුවේ නැත්නම් බූරුව ගහන තැන ඉන්නවා. කාංචන විජේසේකර.
We wonder if this was an act prepared using Google by Kanchana Wijesekara and Mapa. We do not even understand the language used here.
Sri Lanka විදුලි බල මේ මෙතන පනත කියලාවත් නැහැ. මේ තියෙන භාෂාව අපිට නම් තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේක සංස්කෘතිකද ඕලන්දද පෘතුගීසිද මාගදිද කණ්ඩනද කියලා අහන්න වෙනවා. අපි අහනවා නීතිපතිගෙන්.
Was this drafted by the Attorney General? 6 new taxes have been imposed. Then there is also the VAT. This needs to be thrown into the dustbin.
මේක කුණු කූඩේට දාන්න ඕනේ. මේක වැඩක් නැහැ. මේක කුණු කූඩේට දාන්න.
The Frontline Socialist Party also commented.
හරි පැහැදිලි මේකේ කුමන්ත්‍රණය පැහැදිලි.
The conspiracy is clear. The person who says he is the president has used a loophole in the constitution. He cannot make decisions over a public service like the CEB. This devious legislation must be defeated. Let's see who will vote in favor of this. This is not the first time that a devious legislation has been introduced. Ranil Wickremesinghe is used to this. Whenever there is an inconsistency between the Sinhala and Tamil languages, the Sinhala language shall prevail. Therefore, the Sinhala language document is legally binding. This has not even been subject to a proofreading. What is the word that they have used for decarbonization in Sri Lanka's electricity sector?
කාබන් හරණය සඳහා මේ වචනේ මොකද්ද? මේක සිංහල වචනයක් නෙමෙයි. පුයන්නක් තියෙනවා, කේ අකුරක් තියෙනවා, 4න් 3ක් තියෙනවා, නයන්නක් තියෙනවා. මේ මොකද්ද වැදිලා? අඩුම ගානේ ප්‍රූෆ් බලලා නැහැ. මොකද්ද මේ කඩිකුලප්?
This has not been subject to any proofreading. They moved this in haste. Page 6 has even more issues with gibbering in English. I wonder if this is the first time in this country's history that such a thing has happened. The Tamil language document has not been made public. In 2002, Ranil Wickremesinghe tried to do something similar and learnt a lesson. In 2004, he was nowhere to be found. Thereafter, he managed to come back in 2015 by speaking of the Rajapaksa looting. But he was humiliated following the central bank bond scam.
2015 යන්තම් අර මේ රාජපක්ෂලාගේ හොරකම් ගැන කියලා ඇවිල්ලා ඒත් මහ බැංකුව හොරකම කළා කුජීත වෙලා ගියා.